We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Michael. First up, one of our older podcasts helped Michael resolve an audio issue. He has a Mac Mini and a Roku 2 as his source is connected to a Yamaha RX V675 AV receiver. He was finding that he wasn't able to use Dolby Pro Logic 2 or DTS Neo 6 up mixing when using his Mac Mini. He heard us discussing that same issue with another listener, and sure enough, his audio output on his Mac was set to 8-channel PCM, meaning that the Mac Mini was doing all the audio decoding and always sending 7.1 PCM signals to his Yamaha, even when it was only a 2-channel source, which means you will get 2 channels and nothing else, no matter what you do. Right.
Yeah, all the other channels are technically active, but they're just playing silence.
Nothing. Yeah. He switched the speaker configuration of the Mac Mini to a 2-channel enabled bitstream output, and now everything is working fine on that front. So, here's the question. He's building up his audio system a little at a time. He started with a monoprice 5.1 speaker package. His first big speaker upgrade has been a pair of ELAC debut B6 bookshelf speakers for his front, left, and right positions. He reran YPAO after installing the new speakers, but he'd like us to double check his AV receiver settings for him. What should be on, what should be off, and what should be manually changed. So we're going to have to go through this because when I did the review of these questions today, I did it on my phone, and I could not zoom into these things.
Sorry.
So, I don't know what you're showing people, so let's go from what I'm seeing.
Should be seeing the same things we're looking at in our notes.
So the manual setup, it says power amp assigned. It says basic, 7-channel plus zone 1, 5-channel bi-app. It looks like that's fine.
Those are the options. Yeah, so basic is all he got. He doesn't have extra channels. Now, this does have an interesting thing on the back. There are 9 sets of binding posts, but there are only 7 amps. So it has the ability to, on the fly, switch between either surround backs or front presence speakers.
Right.
But he's just running 5.1 anyway. So all of that's kind of moot. Basic's all you need as far as your power amp assign.
All right, then the next one, we've got his configuration for his speakers. He's got everything set to small, so that's good.
Yes, that's exactly what it should be.
The next one, we have the distance level. The distances here, the speakers are about 5 to 7 feet apart away from him.
It looks like he's shifted a little bit to the right, or, has the things on the left a little bit farther away from him. But YPAO should do a very accurate job of that sort of thing, so I have no worries there.
And that 8.4 feet for your subwoofer doesn't mean anything, so don't worry about that. Did I skip the distances? I didn't. No. Yes. Okay.
Nope.
Now we're on to levels, and again, everything looks pretty good here.
Yeah.
They're all within like a dB of each other, so that's fine. Going to the parametric EQ, he's got the YPAO set to flat, which that'd be where I'd start.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's other options, you can try them, but I would start with flat and probably get bored and stop.
I completely agree with that. Now, the one that wasn't shown in here in his manual speaker setup was the crossover setting. This is a global crossover in the 675, so you get 1 hertz value that gets assigned to all speakers that you set to small. So all 5 speakers in your case will have the same crossover. Now, you said you started with that monoprice package, so there's a chance that it might need to be set higher than 80. 80 is the default. There's a chance that setting it higher than that might be beneficial to you. So
for the ELAC, you mean?
No, because but only his front pair. So the center and the surrounds are still the monoprice speakers. So it might not be a terrible idea. I mean, see what YPAO set. If YPAO set it to lower than 80, definitely raise it to at least 80.
Yes.
But raising it to 100 or 120 might not be the worst thing, but 80 is probably fine.
Okay. This next one just says lip sync. I'm not really sure what we're supposed to see.
Yeah, so he's into the sound menus now. The lip sync should just be left at auto. Now, the dynamic range definitely leave it at maximum. That's the default anyway. That means you're not compressing the dynamic range in any way. Max volume, set that wherever you like, wherever you don't want it to be higher. Initial volume is fine to leave it at that. Now, the adaptive DSP level probably doesn't matter because that only applies to Yamaha's Cinema DSP listening modes. So if you use that, whatever, I don't even know what effect that's going to have. It's based on the volume level. It changes some of the DSP processing, but you're probably not even using any of those Cinema DSP listening modes anyway, so that setting won't matter.
Yeah. Under video, in this video mode, he has direct, so that's just should be passing everything through, which should be fine.
That's exactly what I would do.
HDMI, he's got HDMI control off.
Yay!
He's got the standby through off because it won't go on unless you turn HDMI control.
No, standby through can go.
Oh, standby through. I was thinking ARC. I'm sorry. You're right. ARC. Standby through is fine. If you want to be able to listen to stuff through your TV with your receiver being off and all your speakers being off, then you would want to turn that on.
Yeah.
And all that means is the last source, usually the way this works, the last source that you were watching, you can turn your TV on and it will
use your TV's built-in speakers. Yeah, that's what the standby through is for. Yes, HDMI control, that is the big one you need to have turned on. That's the stupid CEC stuff.
So audio output, he's got the amp on and the HDMI out TV on. I don't see any reason to have the HDMI TV on unless you're using those speakers, which I don't suggest you do. So.
And that would be weird because that would be your 5.1 is playing and your TV speakers are playing at the same time, which would be a weird... I don't even know why this is an option. That's unusual to see that. Yeah, I would probably... No, there's no situation in which you are using your 5.1 speakers and your TV's built-in speakers simultaneously.
You don't know some old people. My parents would totally do
I know,
that.
but you shouldn't be. So... Yeah. That HDMI out to the TV, turn that off. Leave the amp on, turn the HDMI out to the TV off. That doesn't make sense.
So this next one is option. It says treble and bass. It just says bypass. I guess the option is to make some adjustments to your treble and your bass. You could if you want to, but bypass is fine. The adaptive DRC.
That's dynamic range control.
Is that going to be close to our Odyssey dynamic EQ?
No. Okay, it's a little bit more like dynamic volume.
Yeah.
Which is as you turn the master volume down, it tries to compress all of the dynamic range so that you don't have as large a difference between the quietest thing and the loudest thing. Now, you might like that. You know, there's a chance. Some people do like that when they're watching at night. They turn the master volume down, and then they're like, now the dialogue's too quiet and the explosions are too loud. So that's what the adaptive DRC is there for. When you put the master volume at 0, it's not doing anything. It's leaving the signal alone. But when you turn the volume down, it shrinks the dynamic range so that quieter things are a little bit louder and louder things are a little bit quieter. I'm not completely opposed to using that if that's something you want, but in general, we'd leave it off.
I use it for naps.
Sure.
When I want to take a nap and I don't want to be woken up by something. The next one is XD. Is that XD?
It's extended surround, and this is a bit of an odd setting. So if you have 7 speakers connected,
right,
this is, you can say when 2-channel or 5.1 channel comes in, always apply the Dolby Pro Logic 2 movie upmixer to it, or the DTS Neo 6 upmixer to it. You get to select which upmixer you want applied at all times. Auto just says if it's a Dolby signal, I'm going to apply Dolby Pro Logic 2 to it. If it's a DTS signal, I'm going to apply DTS Neo 6 to it. To me, well, in your case, it doesn't even matter because you don't have 7 speakers connected. So,
well, I mean, I guess it could theoretically matter for 5 speakers with a 2-channel input, though, right?
Right, yeah, 2-channel up mixed, yeah. So if you always want to use Dolby Pro Logic 2 in the movie or music mode, you could set that, but auto is probably just fine.
Input trim and subwoofer trim are both set to 0 for the Mac Mini, and that's just fine.
Yep.
I mean, you don't want to be adjusting anything there. Again, he's got an enhancer for the Mac Mini input, and that's set to off.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's supposed to make like really bad quality MP3s sound not quite as bad. I've never had much success with that. So
they just kind of make them sound bassier, a little louder, a little bit. They don't really do much. All right.
That's it.
Good luck with that, dude. want your question answered, send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.